I need to ask you a question. Be curious, Drifters.
Allegron's won the Brisbane Cup, but it's all Antino. Blake Shin, take a bow. Barraquil, Benny Allen hasn't moved.
Broadside in Bogged, won the Golden Rose.
Pride of Jenny, trying to find the reserves at the 100. She's 3 in front of Mr. Brightside. It's all too late. Pride of Jenny has run them into the night. Switzerland a big winner by 2.5 Bellatrix Star.
He's down, Jolly Star. She is a star in the making. Jolly Star bolts in.
It's all Isthmus. She's very smart and fast.
Is it a slow news day when I'm looking at RaceNet right now? It was perfect. Sunshine in Paris shines in important TJ Smith tune-up, which I'm assuming was a trial.
Track gallop.
Yeah, right. Is that really worthy of an
No.
article?
No. It's not.
Slow news day.
It must be. Well, there's nothing really out there at the moment that's
Of note.
of note. Yeah, we're just in a sort of holding pattern. I think everyone's analysed the Moonee Valley and the Rose Hill tracks to within an inch of their lives, and now they've been wringing out that towel for the last almost week, and there's
I saw
no more water coming out of it.
I saw Moonee Valley came out and apologise. Or they were regretful of the meeting. I'm like, didn't Basilina come from out wide and win? What am I missing here? It is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I think for the Valley, it was advantageous to be rails in running. Obviously, it doesn't mean you can't win. It just means that it's a lot harder. And as a punter who's just we're just having a bit of a crack, the two of us, right? We're just average punters. Knowing that information in advance or being able to pick up that bias, in inverted commas, within a couple of races is probably advantageous because you're like,
Exactly.
You're like, well, Grinzinger Bell.
No wonder she got jammed.
No wonder she got jammed. Yeah. So for us, like, it's good. If you're a less clued on punter, it's probably not good because you might be like, oh, I really like this horse.
Yeah.
But you'd never back it if you knew what the track was actually going to be doing. But then I think about the connections. And if you own a horse who maybe they're not even a back marker, but they're like a midfield horse, and you're just like, well, my horse has got no chance.
Well, we've owned two of them.
We have.
Yeah.
Previously, I'd say for one very, very soon. And, but we have.
And she was a back marker most of the time.
Yep.
And, she'd race at Ipswich a few times, and there's no way she could win.
No.
Not on that track.
No way. No way.
She absolutely launched on there. Very similar dimensions to, like, Moonee Valley, I feel.
Yep.
Ippy. Sharp little bend there. Anyway, I digress. Let's leave that dross in the background.
Yeah, who knows how the track's going to be playing this weekend?
Well, I know. Oof. We've been waiting for the rain, and it's actually coming.
Yeah, it is.
So, Rose Hill, rail is out 6 metres, 1 to 15 mil on Friday, 10 to 60 on Saturday. What happened to a forecast that was like 50 to 60 mil? I feel like that died with COVID.
Oh, the Bureau of Meteorology, the meteorologists need to take a good hard look at themselves.
Yeah.
Worst punters in Australia.
Yeah.
The definition of each-way gamblers.
Yes, they are. Definition. Because what if it comes out? Because I have sympathy with the track managers that they could go like, all right, we cannot possibly water this track. But what if it just they only get 5 mil? Talk about bias. It's going to be on pace. You won't be able to make up any ground.
No, you won't at all.
Tough. I think track managers get analysed within an inch of our lives, but we couldn't do any better. I think we need
Of course we couldn't.
We need to woo up big time.
Of course we couldn't, mate.
Yeah.
I'd battle to get rid of bloody weeds in my lawn.
Yeah.
If I had one.
Yeah.
You had a battle with what are they called? Ants.
Yeah.
Ant hills.
It's ongoing. It's an ongoing battle.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Imagine if Flemington was all the way down the
Ant
straight,
hills.
just covered in ant hills.
It'd be dangerous.
That'd be very dangerous.
Yeah.
But
Ant
yeah.
hills are tough, mate.
They are.
So, yeah, who am I to judge?
Meteorologists and ant hills. That's what
Yeah.
we're talking about on this week's podcast. I tell you what, though, it is ridiculous. It's impossible to do the form with any semblance of confidence if you have no idea how the track's going to play. But if they're saying 60 mils, let's say, fuck it, half of that, 30 mils is going to hit on race day.
That's significant.
You want a wet tracker.
Yeah, absolutely. Which the first race that we're previewing is a bunch of 2-year-olds that haven't seen a wet track. So I think for us to give out a tip here would be absolute nonsense. But for the purpose of this, nepotism, that was a striking first up run. Thought he would only improve getting out further as well.
Yeah, I think so. I have a futures bet on nepotism for the size produce. I doubt he's going there now, but if he's racing here, but gee whiz, the Hawk stable draws a gate 3.
Probably go back though.
Yeah, if I was going to steer him as one, definitely nepotism. $3 for the good people at Neds. I think that's fair enough.
Yeah, I thought so. Now, race 3 is the Tulloch Stakes, Group 2, 2,000 metres, 3-year-old colts and geldings. Any firm opinions on this race?
Really hard to have a firm opinion in this race.
This is a Group 2.
Yeah, it's...
I said Group 2.
Insane to me. I thought King of Thunder was probably right... was right to be favourite in this race. He's $3.40 with Neds at the moment. It's a sticky gate with J-Mac. But I really liked his start in the benchmark 78 at Rosehill Gardens the other week. He's also got form around Cool Jakey, who's probably featuring later on in the program. So I thought King of Thunder, but at the same time, doesn't fill me with an awful amount of confidence. We backed pocketing in the midway a couple of weeks ago, and this is obviously a step up to a Group 2, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily Group 2 quality. Big price is $16. What about you, mate? Any firm opinions?
Not at this stage. This race hasn't necessarily been in the last 5 or so years a really good judge of Derby winners.
Yep.
There was a stretch there where it was just providing winner after winner after winner. I think the last one to come through the race potentially might be Quick Thinker. There might be others, that placed through those races as well, but I'm going to have to do the form a bit more on this race. I think there's so many different form references coming through. Pocketing was a nice winner, albeit in a midway, but 1,600 up to 2,000 is tough. So potentially looking for a horse that has had a bit more of a robust prep. Race 4, the Neville Selwood Stakes, Group 2, 2,000 metres, set weights and penalties. What on earth is Cheerwolf doing here?
I think Joe Pride looked at it and was like, I need one more run on him before the Queen Elizabeth. And thought to himself, well, it's 2 weeks between this race and the Queen Elizabeth. Put him on the quick backup. He's done that before with Cheerwolf. Yeah, I don't mind it, actually, on this occasion. The risk is that he runs into a soft 7, heavy 8 here.
Yeah.
Busts his ass carrying the top weight, albeit against a much lesser field over 2,000 metres, and then has to come into a Queen Elizabeth, which potentially will be on another heavy deck. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets scratched.
Yeah, I think so. That's where I was thinking too.
But $1.70, I think he puts his field to the sword. Absolutely. But you won't find me having a bet.
No. Couple of good wet trackers. By Dudgeon, who something had to run into the placings against Pride of Jenny and the Peter Young. But what we do know about that race is it was run at genuine speed. We've seen that trend kind of translate quite well. So that horse won a Doom Cup. Did it not?
Yes, it did.
I think on rain-affected ground, it improves significantly. And then another good wet tracker is he's a shocker as well. Now, obvious step up here, but that's $20, $18 there for a couple of decent wet trackers there. If Cheerwolf does scratch, and obviously their price will come in. Now, the Emancipation Stakes is Group 2, 1,500 metres for the 3-year-old, for the fillies mares, set weights and penalties. Any ones that you want to back in here?
I thought it was a tricky little race because the market's definitely sort of on the money with a lot of these. Cool Valance, I think, was disappointing in the Coolmore Classic after a romp in the Catanac Jewelers Mannerism Stakes, Group 3.
Yeah.
Brained them.
Grings Ingeberger was second there.
She was, so it's good form. I think Courvolant wants a bit of pace on, but I also think she wants to be stalking the leaders, and she got too far back in the Coolmore Classic. She's drawn in, so I think she'll get a much better run here, and she's pretty well suited at the weights. Question marks over Scarlet Oak over her last start in the Coolmore Classic, but she was super resuming. She gets J-Mac again, so maybe that will turn the tables a little bit. But the filly, number 7, Lazura, we were keen on her in the Far Lap Stakes, Group 2. Maybe that's the win she needed to sort of just take it up a notch, and form around the 3-year-old fillies in Sydney is good form, I'd say.
She beat the boys there too.
She did.
Wonder Boy.
So yeah, it's a tricky little race because I could talk into all three of them.
Yeah, I agree. It is a little tricky little race here. Yeah.
Harlem Queen's not the worst.
Yeah, Lazura, Arctic Glamour. Like, Clear Thinking, do I give her another chance? Like, her profile's starting to suggest that she doesn't necessarily appreciate good ground, maybe. She's undefeated on rain-affected ground as well. But, 54 kilos when Lazura has 55, I'm unsure. Yeah, it's going to be a tough race to kind of
For the source, absolutely.
dissect.
It is. It's a tricky little one.
Tough day at Rosehill.
It is.
The Vinery Stud Stakes. Hopefully this is a little more straightforward. 2,000 metres Group 1 for the 3-year-old filly at set weights. Treasure of the moment is $1.55. Chips in or what?
Not all $1.55 shots are created equal. She'll put this field to the sword comfortably.
She's never seen rain-affected ground worse than a soft 5.
That's the only query.
Any concern? Like, just makes it no betting race, right?
Yeah. $1.55, probably not going to bet into that anyway. Alabama Express is by Redute's Choice. What did Alabama Express do? I know he won like a CF4 or something like that as a 3-year-old, I think. But what did he actually do deck-wise?
He only raced like 6 times.
Yeah.
Like, he was very, very lightly raced.
He only ever saw good tracks.
And Draconic Treasure, a Street Cry mare. Did the Street Cries get through it? I have no idea.
The Street Cries can do anything, mate.
Yeah.
Street Boss by Street Cry, Winks by Street Cry. Do whatever. Draconic Treasure. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
We're going back a bit here. I can't find anything.
Yeah. Well, who cares?
But who cares? Even if she doesn't handle a wet deck, I couldn't possibly steer into anything else. She's so much better than everything else in this race. Yeah. Just watch and enjoy.
Yeah, I agree. Watch, enjoy, clap, all that. The Star Kingdom Stakes is race 7, 1,200 metres Group 3, handicap. Marzu sees a wet track. That'll be in his favour.
Absolutely, it will.
Hot Nash on.
He's just a different horse.
Yeah.
He's a different horse. And he hasn't been terrible this prep. Been running on okay. But if it's downgraded to a heavy 8 by this point, he won't start $9. He'll start $4.
Well, last time he was on heavy track in the Hallmark Stakes with Jamie Mellum on, he won by a length at $5, beating Valana and a Daft Cabin. Valet. Yeah, he's definitely not the worst.
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. So, yeah, I think if it's a super wet deck, Marzu can absolutely win.
What about your boy Espionage?
I think I'd be prepared to give him one more go. He's come up short at $6, though. Bit of weight relief. Timmy Clark, 53 kilos. Nice gait. Had absolutely no luck with Dean Yendelon in the Newmarket. Definitely wouldn't have won the race, but ran into more asses than fucking
Johnny Sins.
yeah. Yep. So a bit more clear air. Being by Zoo Star, he'll be able to get through the wet, I would imagine.
You know who's a really good wet tracker? Number 11, Punch Lane. Tommy Barrion, superior wet track profile. $23, not the worst. Going to have to look at this horse's trials. If you haven't realised, I'm severely underdone. So going to have to look through, but I've always had an opinion that I need to see this horse on a wet track to see his best. He'll definitely have that on the weekend. So, and I love the Freedman stable, big time. Mm-hmm. So he could be another one for me. Race 8 is the Tancred, the feature. 2,400 metres, Group 1, at weight for age level. Now, interesting field here. Dubai Honour, your 290 favourite, does get a wet track, which is definitely in his favour. How many times has he raced? Oh, he's raced 8 times over the last 12 months for 2 wins, 3 seconds, and a third. Do you trust that he's here in his best form? Aussie Tom on.
Yeah, I think so. Like William Haggis, more often than not gets them right when he sends them here. And look at who he's been racing against across the globe. He's a globetrotter to Viana. And a lot of these would dream of that sort of form. He loves a wet deck, fresh off the plane.
Yeah, fuck, he goes everywhere, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
Does he have jet lag? Does he have jet lag?
Potentially, but he's been here before. I'm happy to have him on top to Viana. If it's a wet deck, it's a no-brainer for me. Gets a nice draw. He's a tough horse. He's proven here before. He's proven all over the world. I don't think he needs to be at the form he was here 2 years ago when he won the Ranford and the Queen Elizabeth to put these away. Vauban was phenomenal resuming, and the race shape was against him as well, and he still won. He's got great form on wet decks as well, so no surprises him coming up at a short price. Arapahoe's been racing super. Duke de Sesso is in great form. He'll enjoy the wet deck. So the chances don't end around Dubai Honour. Warmonger's a great price at $18 on a wet deck, getting out 2,400 metres. If you're going to spec a roughie, he'd be the one. But no, I'm happy to be with the favourite.
Yeah. He's never seen a heavy ground, but that's because he's racing in Hong Kong, Dubai, UK in the summertime. Mm-hmm. Take me back.
Yep.
But it suggests that if he does find inferior ground, he would absolutely truck through it. Mm-hmm. But I'll take him on. All that considered. What the hell is Duke de Sessa done wrong?
There's nothing wrong.
The Kieran Maher stable have been doing rain dances for months, I reckon, in the lead up to here. But he won unexpectedly first up over 1,600 metres. Super behind Middle Earth in the Australia Cup prelude as well. Both on good ground. He just needs a bit of cutout. I think the wetter the better for him, actually. Harry Coffey retains the ride, which I like to see. Barrier 2, if it's not too chopped up on the inside. Races on speed. I reckon he'll be leading this race at some stage in the straight. So Team Duke at $7.50. I reckon he can take the next step.
It's a good little race. LaCreek comes over from New Zealand. She's
holy shit.
Group 1 horse over there.
1, 2, 3, 4 seconds in a row.
Yeah, pretty sure they're all at Group 1 level as well. Yep.
13 Group 1 starts for 2 wins, 6 seconds and 2/3.
So she's an interesting one, LaCreek.
She ran second to Ice Bath, didn't she? On Derby Day.
I think so. Kinesiology. Warmonger's got form around Al Alcance, who brained him last start. He had 58.5 kilos that day. Al Alcance had 53. But I think he's got to circle around the Sydney Cup Warmonger. I think he needs bloody 6,000 metres.
I have a question. Who is this River of Stars that J-Mac's on down the bottom? This Yulong mare.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I know she's a French mare.
Has decent form on wet tracks, but never won in 10 attempts.
No, but interesting, isn't it?
So she's raced at Group 1 level twice for 2 seconds, which is really interesting stuff. So, yeah, obviously anything that J-Mac is riding, I think there's a significant reason why. But to be fair, these stayers up above as well, I don't know how often he would actually ride them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good question.
Because, like, a lot of them go around in handicap races. And it's like, a lot of the time, he would be out of the handicap for some of them if they're coming through the grades.
Yeah.
And a lot of them have locked-in jocks too. So, anyway.
Yulong's also got number 5, Zaria, in this race. A 5-year-old gelding by Frankel. Unusual for Yulong to be buying geldings and bring them across. I guess Vin Cox, who used to be the MD for Godolphin down here, is now with Yulong. Maybe he's taking a leaf out of Godolphin's book and buying the Northern Hemisphere horses and bringing them down to a race here. And
Hartnell type. Because he was
he was in Northern Hemisphere. So was Cascadian.
And Best Solution.
Avilius.
Villiers.
He was a good horse.
He was. He would love the conditions this week.
Absolutely.
I think he'd need a...
He won a Tancred, didn't he?
I reckon he did.
A good horse.
Yeah, he could run on a bit.
Yeah, he definitely could run on a bit.
But that one prep where he was coming through the grades, it was like a Villiers nature strip, like all up, bang.
It's just money for jam, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Those were the days.
A Villiers nature strip, winks, all up, bang.
Bang.
Yeah, better than bank interest. All right, Doncaster Preluders, race 9, 1,500 metre Group 3 handicap. Who's the favourite here? Is it Will I Dow? I think it might be. Will I Dow and Amenable. Amenable back at the races. He can get through wet ground.
He can. I don't think he's the worst here at all. I watched him race and nearly beat Sandpaper in the Newcastle Stakes, which was a Friday just before Cyclone Alfie was supposed to
Be treacherous.
be treacherous up here in Queensland. And I was on Sandpaper and he got home, thank God. But he carried 58 kilos a day. Sandpaper had 54. I don't think Amenable's the worst here. Like he's only won twice in 19 starts, but like you said, finds the wet ground here, which he enjoys. Gets a nice draw. He's got to give weight to a fair few, but also a fair few nonnies.
Yeah, true. A lot of these don't like to put their head in front of the winning post.
No, they don't.
Ducasse is one of them. Dog shit draw, no jockey booking. But his profile does suggest that he likes the cutout as well. So he wasn't horrific last start. You just probably want to see more, but you're getting a good price to find out at $12. NCAP, another one. We thought he was a fantastic 60-1 pop in the Canterbury Stakes, and he ran like it. Again, he's a horse that just kind of tries every single time he goes out there. But Just Folk is also a good wet tracker up the top of the weights too, but he would need to improve significantly. So, yeah, common theme here. Let's go to Flemington then. So, race 3 is the Thoroughbred Breeders' Stakes, Group 3, 1,200 metres set weights penalties for the 2-year-old fillies. Any of these give you any interest at all?
No, not at all. Not at all. We're planning on a dry deck, I'm pretty sure, in Flemington this weekend.
Rails in the true. Yeah, it'll be upgraded by the time the Australia Cup comes around, I reckon.
Yeah, look, 2-year-old races like this, if you want to have a bet, and there's not much exposed form, trainer-jockey combination I usually look at. So, for example, if you look at number 5, Enchanted By, out of the Waterhouse and Bott stable with Craig Williams on, that stable knows how to get a 2-year-old up. I feel like those silks have been everywhere recently.
They've been airborne.
They've been everywhere, and they've been airborne.
Tricolours.
Tricolours. So, gate 8 down the straight's good, like, if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But also,
just hold,
just keep your powder dry.
keep it dry in this wet weather. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well said.
Next race I had on the agenda was race 6, the Bob Hoisted handicap, listed 1,000 metres for the 3-year-olds. What are your thoughts here?
Pisanello had the starting price profile, didn't it? Last start.
The more I looked at that race, the more I got the ick with that setup. I was convinced. But 1,100 down to 1,000. The Flemington Straight can play a bit longer.
Returns to the scene of the crime as well. Tell you what, I wonder how Jamie Mellon's been going recently. I'd love to see the stats. But I thought Pisanello absolutely was a bet at $3.20. I could also talk you into number 7, Sans Doute.
Yeah.
It was a little bit disappointing in the Oakley Plate, but probably looked like more of a trial than anything else. But look at her Flemington record. 6 starts, 4 wins.
Yeah.
And she's a 1,000-metre horse for mine. Draws well. Mickey D in those silks. I reckon that could be a recipe for success. And she's $10. Good people at Neds.
I think, she was the one that I thought was over the odds. She didn't quite put it together in the spring.
No, I think you put a line
Yeah.
through that prep.
Yeah, I think she saw some wet tracks and she doesn't really appreciate that, but she wants to see that this weekend. Her Oakley Plate run was okay, but she's probably not a Group 1 mare, is she?
No, she's not.
Yeah, she's
won
a listed race.
She's a listed race handicap mare,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what this is.
Yeah, with Mickey D on.
And she's only got 54 kilos.
Exactly.
$10, like that's a bit of a spoil.
Yeah. Like, is Spaceport going to win this race?
He could. He
Like,
could.
Am I just going to be looking at the screen, shaking my head, going like, why today?
He could. He could. You could.
His last win was 72 weeks ago. Huh? That can't be right. Surely not. That was on... Was that on Derby Day? Couldn't have been.
No, surely not.
I reckon it must have been on Oaks Day or something.
He's a funny horse.
That's
Maybe it was on the Cup Day.
unbelievable.
It might have been on Oaks Day. I can't remember.
Wow. He beat Crosshaven that day.
Oh, God. Yuck.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to see Spacebook do it, don't you? Yeah, Sans Dude or Pisanello. Hopefully piss it in. You know what I mean? All right. The Whirlpool Sprint Classic, 1,100 metres listed for the 3-year-old set weights penalties. They do listed races in Sydney? I feel like they don't. Or it's like off-season racing. Whereas Victoria has them every other week.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking about a Group 2 that definitely shouldn't be a Group 2 in Sydney. Yeah. There probably should be more listed races and less group races in Sydney.
True.
I think every race should be a benchmark 100 until proven otherwise.
Well put. Yeah. Well put. Just a giant reset, guys.
Yeah. Everything's benchmark 100.
Yeah.
We go again. No maidens.
No maidens. Figure it out. Any thoughts with this one?
Yeah, strong thought. I shared a small little bet with you earlier this week before final acceptances and barriers for number 6, Alabama Lass. Out of Alabama Express, so the same sire as Treasure of the Moment. There you go.
Wow.
Can throw up a good horse. Evidently. She is twice placed in Group 1s in New Zealand.
That's over the ditch.
Across the Dutch. And then absolutely brained them in a Group 3 at Ellerslie on the same day as the Kiwi pop-up race. Smashed the clock, smashed them, and now comes over here against, respectfully, horses that I don't think would be winning Group 1s or placing in Group 1s over in New Zealand. Like, are our horses better than Kiwi horses? Generally speaking, but I respect a Group 1 place getter multiple times who's got a formidable record like her coming over here against this lot. And I got $3.50 with the good people at Ned's. She's $2.40 already as the market's open. The draw's not ideal, gate 4, but she gets Willow.
That's fine.
I reckon she's a phenomenal bet, and I don't need to bet again.
No.
What are your thoughts?
TFC. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Bang. Yeah. No. I looked at the acceptances or the noms for this race rather, and nothing got me hot and bothered at all. None of these really got me up and about at all. Amelita on the quick backups, slightly interesting.
She's at a big price.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just don't necessarily like the.
Is there
seems
anything
like afterthought?
Yeah. Is there anything in this race that's the next closest in the market to her, Alabama Lass, is $9.50, and that's Daggers. Oh, sorry, $9 for Vestas, and then $9.50 for Daggers. But that tells me that even the bookies are like, ugh.
Yeah.
You rarely see that. You see a $2.40 favourite, then you see something on the second line of betting that's $5, and you see something at 7 or 8.
Which says to me that the $2.40 on offer is still value.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I don't think you'll get a 2 in front of it. Could go either way, but unless they find something to kind of come after. But yeah, I agree. I think she'll be let's put it this way. I don't think she'll be Team Green's late of the day.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. All right. The Ned's Australian Cup. The Group 1 over 2,000 metres at weight for age level. Light infantry man, attrition, young Werter. What's he doing here? Middle Earth, Shayar, Pride of Jenny, Atishu, Zardozi, Deny Knowledge, and Feroce. Keen to hear your thoughts.
Oh, well, there was an interesting banter this week with the Friedman stable talking about Deny Knowledge, serving it up to Jenny. And I tell you what, that could create a race that has the truest pace of all time. It really could.
She can run on a bit.
She can.
Yeah.
But if they're going hell for leather up front, like Pride of Jenny could absorb that and then kick away. I think Deny Knowledge probably is more of a bully and wants it all her own way.
Do you reckon she could absorb it?
Pride of Jenny, I think she can absorb. I think she can absorb a really good speed better than most horses. Where she gets into trouble is when she tries to be too cute up front. She needs to break their heart halfway through the race.
Yeah, can she absorb it though? I'm looking at. I can't remember her sitting off a speed, off pace and winning.
No, I think as in she can absorb a hot speed up front and then keep kicking.
Yeah,
As in her own.
Got you.
Her own fast speed.
Right. So,
look, do I think she can sit behind the lead here and win? No.
Yeah.
No. But if it's her and then Deny Knowledge here, sort of eyeballing each other, maybe Jenny's just a little bit ahead, which I imagine she would be from gate 1. Deny Knowledge is gate 3. Like, I think Pride of Jenny's going to stick on better than Deny Knowledge. However, I also think for her to be at her best, she doesn't want to fly in the ointment.
Yeah.
So for mine, I think Pride of Jenny can absolutely win. But I'm going to take her on. And I think the fast pace suits a horse like Middle Earth, who's got great form overseas, over further, and was fantastic first up in the Aussie Cup Prelude, the Team Ned's Aussie Cup Prelude. And look, for mine, gate 8, Mark jumps off Deny Knowledge to stick with Middle Earth. He'll be better having that first up run. A breakneck speed over 2,000 metres is going to suit him. Flemington suits him as well, Middle Earth. So keen to have him on top. But also horses like Atishu and Zardozi and Light Infantry Man, I think will run well as well. That's how I'm seeing the race.
Yeah.
I think you want to be a back marker in this race.
Yeah. I think they're gonna ruin it for each other, I think.
You reckon?
Yeah. Because Deny Knowledge knows no other way. But so does Pride of Jenny. And they're both Pride to buy mares. So they're just two bullies by definition.
Yep.
Deny Knowledge, I feel like, has a better constitution in terms of how can I put this? She's won out to further, albeit in far inferior grade. So I think she got backed into near favourite in the Caulfield Cup as well. Like she got absolutely smashed that day.
That's right.
But wasn't her setup because it was soft ground as well.
Yep.
So good ground. Flemington can be leaderish at times. So I think it is not bad, but how fast can she go with Pride Jenny there? I think this is the way I'm reading it, right? I think Deny Knowledge has more pure speed in terms of like out of the gates. Pride Jenny kind of like steps out and then she goes like, what am I doing here? And then she kind of like, oh yeah, that's right. She like takes a bit to get into it. So I think Deny Knowledge will be leading Pride Jenny, at least for the first, furlong of the race. Mm-hmm. But I think they're going to kind of like, go to each other. What's the last Group 1 that Mark Zara's won?
Might have been on Deny Knowledge. Maybe the Manicato on Southport Tycoon.
Yeah,
maybe.
Potentially. Keen to see what Middle Earth does out to, like, in these circumstances. 2,000 metre lead up. Found trouble that day, still won. And I thought Light Infantry Man was also a good bet in this race, but
He was good in the All-Star Mile.
he was great. I guess that race, was it run at true tempo? I don't think so.
No, he was very tactical.
So I think he's going to be run off his legs a little bit. Mm-hmm. So it might have to be siding with Middle Earth on top here. Just that alternative form reference.
Yes. Yep. Really keen to see how it goes. A tissue, not the worst, like I said. Yeah. Good little race.
Yeah. The Roy Higgins, last race that we'll be covering. 2,600 metres listed, set weights and penalties. Is this a win and you're in?
I think it is, yeah.
To the Melbourne Cup?
I think it is.
Well, let's have a look here. Smoke and Romans feature? Edna Rosso, Deacon? Like, surely not. Surely it's not.
Oh, mate, I think you'd be surprised.
Wow. Anyway, any thoughts?
Oh, Deacon's pretty short. $2.45.
It's a blinds company, isn't it? Deacon Blinds?
1313 No, is that Victory? Victory, curtains and blood. Anyway, what are we doing here? Stupid thing to say. He's short, but he's got the runs on the board. Second to Shayar. Mm-hmm. Shayar is in a Group 1 in the Aussie Cup, the race we just covered. But you and I both know what these stayers are like.
Yeah.
They just take it in turns.
They really do.
Really frustrating. Like I backed mostly Cloudy last start. Ran third to Banker's Choice and Spaycaster in a field of 5 over 2,400 metres.
Give me a spell.
Like it's turned up here at $9. Silent Sorrente, not the worst. Winning the Adelaide Cup will make its own luck out on speed. But I'd say that the South Australian trainers who train Silent Sorrente probably wanted it to peak for the Adelaide Cup. What's it doing here? I'd say this is stinky afterthought. So yeah, Deacon's short enough, but I think he's on top.
Berkshire Breeze on top here. Easy bet. Fourth behind Middle Earth, beaten less than a length. Did some work there as well. Peeled 4 wide. Looked the winner coming down the middle of the track. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. Not this horse. Never been one of mine. But this is get your chips from the casino and get the hell out of there.
Get out of there.
At 6-1. I think he can win. Mark Zara on.
Mark.
For Kieran Maher. This is the exact type of race that Kieran Maher will win. Exact race. How many does he have? He has 2. Smoking Romans, who had a bit of renaissance of form in the spring.
Oh, I can't believe he's a Group 1 winner.
Yeah. I think Berkshire Breeze on top for me. All right. What's the highlight for you then?
I just want to see Trish the Moment go around. Just put him to the sword. It's good to have good horses. Between her, Autumn Glow, and Lady Shenandoah, and Aliana, some really, really nice 3-year-old fillies coming through who are going to be battling for the next few years, hopefully.
Battling.
So, yeah, really looking forward to seeing her just get the JD, and also looking forward to getting all my money from Alabama Lass.
Congrats.
Easy bet.
Congrats to you. Tancred for me. Good race. Yeah, good competitive race. And it always has like a bit of a ding-dong battle. Forget Calipaw last year. That won't be happening this year.
Arapaho, could he win again? Won it 2 years ago.
Wow. Hopefully not. He won't be in my numbers.
Remember when Sir Dragonette won it? He had absolutely no form on dry decks. Pops up on a good 3 and wins at Tancred.
Yeah, I do remember. He was a good horse.
He was a good horse, may he rest in peace.
Heavenly peace.
A classic Kieran Maher horse.
Yes.
Just Cox plate, wet deck,
Plunged.
big time.
Big time. One of the biggest goes I've ever seen. I feel like I say that a lot.
And then, yeah, wins at Tancred at pretty good odds.
Okay. That's enough. We'll see you Sunday.
God bless.